So I got 2 lines in the mail today. I got the an 18-inch one, which I started bending and I realized it wouldn't work, and I ended up doing it this way. I was gonna go 18, go close here, but I can't make that bend. You know, that's like the tightest bend you can make with the tool I have. So I had to come out, to come in, to go against the wall and use up the extra 6 inches, but it came out really nice, I must say. I got the lower hose back on. Got one heater hose on. I got my little electric heater valve mounted, but it's 3 quarters. So I gotta get an adapter for this, you know. So that's going well. I got a bunch of fittings in the mail, and did not get the hose that I wanted to get from the the AC hose, because you got to buy 50 feet. So I try to order somewhere else, see what happens. I don't know. I'm on the fence still. Can't pick up the stupid clips that got lost, or the guy never gave them to me. You know, a local place who makes the hose. They want like $7 a foot, anywhere between $5 and $7 a foot for the hose. And you know, if they use reduced thing, then they use a certain size. They don't use this. It's like I said, it's in between. They force you to use that, but you could use their end supposedly and put different hose on it and just use what you got, I guess. You know. Again, I don't know. I don't want it to fail, so I'd rather do the way it was designed to do instead of not doing it that way. But they say they leave off these things all the time with the regular hose that they use. So if I'm missing one, not a huge deal, I guess, you know, because it's really not doing anything in reality, just preventing the hose from blowing off, God forbid if the clamps came loose. It's an extra step, but I can leave it off the bottom so I don't see it. I leave it on top the way it is. But I shall see. I'm so on the fence. I don't really care how the AC business does it, because it's really not that difficult to do, and all the tools that I bought and everything, it wasn't like a ton of money, and the average mechanic to have that would be kind of rare nowadays. But I mean, I just had the other hose bent for $40, not bent, but made for $40, which, it doesn't sound bad, but I mean, truthfully, I can get it for peanuts, in the end, if I make it myself. So, made in Italy. Can't see it without the light on. Anyway, so I'm going to put this radiator in. I've been delaying doing it because I'm waiting for my other part, and it's still lost in the mail. And, what do you call it? I got to probably take out this support thing here, because I know I tried putting it in there, and I know it wouldn't hold. It wouldn't go in, from the front part. So it's got to go in from this side anyway. So I'm like, I'm going to put the radiator in. And the other thing is that it was funny, because I said I had these new rubbers here, and I only had 3 of them. I didn't have 4. But I said, oh, I found one on the car. It ends up being I must have lost it and it fell on the car, which is pretty hilarious. So that one looks more used, and then the more I was saying, yeah, it looks brand new. I'm like, yeah, wait a minute, actually there is kind of markings on it. So these were the top ones that were not subject to wear. So I'm going to reuse the top ones so it's more even, and put the 2 new ones on the bottom, because those were like mangled and just deformed. So that's about it. I'm going to get this in. I'd like to get it started because I want to see if that rear injector line is actually leaking. And if I get that together, I could technically put on the master cylinder. But I need somebody to help me bleed it, probably. Maybe get a little bit of brakes, but I'd like to get the car out of the garage eventually for other projects while I'm still finishing this off. Because it's hard to put the interior together, and I got to do the power window motors and whatnot. It's hard to do it in the garage. It's got to be off the side. So the heat temperature I think on this thing it's been busted since day one, and that's why my heater is taken apart, and the company had no results for me. It's supposed to get at least 5 degrees or something, but I don't know where I have it now, but I would normally just put it up and then just shut it off when I felt it was a certain temperature. Kind of sucky. I've been dealing with this for years, but supposedly they said it's here where the air blows in. So, and then when it shuts off, it'll like drastically reduce in temperature. I guess because it's low here. I don't know. I don't know if I should put it a foot above the ground, but I just like the switch has been hanging like this forever now since I've had it, like over 3 years now, 3.5 years, 3 years and a few months. But oh well. So that's enough of this. I don't need to eat right now. It's actually kind of more than cozy in here. But it gets cold quick. But gonna get to work on that. I had to take off the lines off that. Made a mess. Got the new radiator on either side. So when I get the new radiator in, I can actually see if the injector line is leaking, because I know that the injectors were definitely, that one injector there was definitely leaking. And it was funny because it looked wet, but it didn't look fresh wet until I turned the motor over when I did the timing chain. Then I realized where it was leaking. You know, it was definitely leaking from over there. So I'm not sure if I'll put in the fan motor yet and stuff, but I need to get this thing in just so I can see what the hell's going on. I can still get the hose in from here, and no matter what, I still have to tighten it. But I did want to put it in first, so I have a better, you know, thing on it. But if I don't put the, you know, a better hold of the situation. But if I don't put the, what do you call it, the fan in, perhaps I can loosen the radiator again and move it forward to help with the angle, or get my hands on the wrenches here, because it's gonna have to be right around here that I do it. But something I don't think I can just loop it through there, although I might be able to. I don't know how much lower it is compared to the mounting bolts. It looks like it's much higher, actually. It looks like it's going to be riding right on it, you know. So, and I believe I was trying to test fit it, and it's hard when you don't have a spot for it, you know. But now that I got this whole rear valance out and everything, it shouldn't be terribly hard, but very odd to say the least, the way they shoehorned in the condenser, and there's no real, you know, solution for it. I mean, truthfully, they just make this condenser smaller, if anything. Don't know why they did that like this, but it is what it is. But I will see about what it needs to put it in here. But the brackets are, you know, pretty far up in here, like right lined up with this hole right here. And then it sticks out, so like I don't think, I mean, it may be able to go in at an angle. I don't know if I actually got it in the general area or not. Maybe it's worth kind of like throwing it in there to see, and just letting it hang out until I can you know, do something. But not having the radiator in is going to make a, you know, pretty nice difference of putting it in or not. But I just want to get the car running, so I don't even have to put antifreeze in it, you know, to be honest. It's just more of the oil lines and the tranny lines. You know, I don't want to run the tranny without any fluid. I can definitely jump those lines, but, you know, then the oil lines, it just needs to, start coming together anyway. It's taking me too long. So I'm going to get to work and see what happens. So a real quick video, because I fucking had it. This is the line that I was worried about. It actually seems to be okay, because I did just get it running. A bunch of problems though, of course. What else is fucking new? This is how I usually am with my mouth. Trying to climb off the car. Ugh. So I put the old radiator back in because the new radiator was not correct. So don't buy a radiator for these cars at 855 number. I had to put the old one back in because it came with an oil cooler on this side, but the lines were just like transmission size lines. Junk. So there was nothing wrong with this radiator. I'm just fucking, if I take something out, I want to put it back. I don't want to put a new one in, you know. So, and I got my new tranny line hoses. I put about 5 quarts of tranny fluid, and I put 5 quarts of oil just to run it. I literally had to run it for maybe 30 seconds. The good news is the fuel pump is working on its own because it was jumped, you know. What was funny is that I rewired this all, you know. I put the wires back where it was, and I put the new relay. And I go inside the car. It still is. The pump isn't working. I was like, ah, fuck. So I go under the dashboard, then I look at the fuel pump fuse, and I pull it out. I'm like, it looks pretty good. So then I put it back in, and I decided to get a test light. I tested one side, had power, the other side, and I couldn't get a good ground on my test light, like, the whole time. And what do you call it? It was not lighting up. So I looked very, very carefully. I put it right next to this bright light, you know, and I could see it had a sliver of a cut in it. So I jumped, I put another fuse from another thing, and boom. Well, not boom, but the pump started working. So that was good, because these cars don't usually take too much cranking to get it going, and definitely not this car. Now, the bad news is my glow plugs still don't work. I had to jump them right from, I just jumped the two big terminals just to get it to go. And so I don't know if something tells me it's possible they popped out this guy and swapped it, just because that might be the only way to get it jumped. But I just fixed the wire that they pulled out that they were jumping in here to get it to go. And I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to have to get a test light on that. And I'm going to have to find the wiring diagram or compare it with my other car. But the good news is that thing is not leaking. Radiator's in. It looks like I'll have room to put in the AC condenser, even if I have to take out the center support thing here. But at least wanted to get it to run. I got to put these axles all together and everything, to be honest, in the tie rods. That would make the most sense. Maybe do that next. And of course, I got to do the brakes. But first time, now I'm going to mess with the glow plug controller. So, and that's about it. So I'm waiting on new AC lines. What a fucking mess. Yeah, just like nothing ever goes right in the order that you want it to go in. So I'm just gonna slow charge it, because I thought the battery was dead, which I just bragged about these two batteries. They've never died on me. And I'm like, why is it cranking so slow? I'm like, it's dead. I realized I didn't have this battery, the ground on this battery hooked up. So now I have it on the 60 amp, charging on 60 amps. I'm probably just gonna leave it down to 2, put it on automatic, and you know, see what happens with that. Automatic 2. Let that sit overnight. That way it'll slow charge it. All pretty much worked out. I had the long stud, and I got the wire that goes from battery to battery from a more modern truck. And I just got to figure out this whole deal with the glow plugs. Yeah, and I'm glad that line isn't leaking, because I really didn't even want to change the injectors, but that injector was leaking. Ended up being it was loose, but I just decided I was going to change them all the other day. And I'm going to put all this shit back together, and you know, get some antifreeze in it as well. But that's, you know, a lot of other things got to happen ahead of that. But a little smoky in here still. I don't know if you could see, but it pretty much fired up pretty violently, and boom, you know. So I don't know if it'll start. Like I said, my neutral safety switch is off, and it's not even going in neutral. So either it's off by 2 clicks or something along those lines. You know, I don't quite know. Don't know now that I don't have the glow plugs jumped briefly if it'll work. I gotta kind of go in between park and reverse. That's the thing about this car. It'll actually, oh shit, I had to put it in park. That was smart. These cars will actually run if you crank them enough, but as you can see, it's getting smoky already. But sounds good. Probably sounds better, you know, because it would stutter quite a bit. Shit, I didn't want to smoke in the car. Oh well. It smelled like cigarettes when I got it, so doesn't really matter, but it sounded pretty crisp there. And it's about, I don't know, 40 degrees, 35. Actually, no, today was the high was going to be 35. maybe 32 or 30. And if for some reason I don't feel as bad, it's cold, but all right, I'll cut that early. I'll cut that short. Like I said, I got more things to do, but it's coming along. I gotta, and I had to reverse these fucking hoses. I didn't know which way they went. The top one I had bought a new GM sitting on the shelf, and the bottom one I had the guy make it. Which now I wish I was making it with the what do you call it? The new hose things I got, and with the AC thing. Just noticed a little wet over here. I don't know if it's because I sprayed it with things. I'm pretty sure I tightened all these. And the O-ring is what really makes the seal. I have a feeling it's just leftover shit. But I had the shorter line down there, and it just wouldn't make the turn. And down there, I just needed that's why I needed to be longer. It kind of fooled me. So, alrighty, I guess that's it for today. I'm dead, as you can see the smoke. But yeah, this guy who sold me the car, he was like, "Yeah, glow plugs don't work. There's a button. They still don't really work." And sure enough, I found out that it was really only, 2 glow plugs that were working in reality. So, what do you call it? He said he would only drive it during the summer because it would start, and it really wouldn't start in the winter, So, but I had no problem using the button. It would start, but it took a lot of cranking, but it made a difference. But and it was a little tiny wire, and I had to hold it. It was the guy hooked it up to the trunk pop, so there was no trunk pop, and I want to fix that. What else? That's it. So I got to fix the neutral safety switch and see what the hell's going on with that. Something wrong there. I know there's an additional adjustment down there somewhere on the mechanical linkage. So, and it's funny because I found another switch that I couldn't find before. I'm regretting not, putting this other cheap switch that I bought. I think it was a cheap switch, because who knows what's right. If it's who knows, But the other ones are one of those Borg Warner ones, the BWM, and I'd much rather have that one, so I might just swap it out anyway. Glow plug's a bummer. I gotta try to find a book and see where these wires go and how they're supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know what triggers it, to be honest, from the inside of the car at least. So, because I'm just gonna, I just run a new wire, if anything. Yeah. So that's that. Thanks for watching.